Hi, everybody.
How y'all doing? It's good to be with you guys again. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. That's fun. Yeah, tonight will be a nice cabbing night. We'll go through a whole bunch of materials, make cabs. Well, we'll offer up some fun deals and that's Tay over there. She ooh, yoink out of the camera.
Or they're talking about you because you haven't been here for two in a row. Do
I'm
you
in
even
here two
work
in a row
here?
again. Oh my
Do you even work
goodness.
here anymore? Oh my goodness.
Doesn't feel like it. And we get a long weekend this weekend. Good grief.
I know. Hey, Sean.
You guys are funny. Now we're gonna have some fun tonight. We'll make some cabs, offer up some deals. Maybe we'll do some tow out of some fun things. It'll be a grand old time. I like making cabs, so it'll be a fun process.
Hi, Donna.
We're making all Winkles tonight for taste's sake.
All ovals.
Actually, I did grab an oval freeform that I was like, you know
I
what?
did see that. I did
I
see
want to finish
that.
that. I'm not horribly opposed to ovals. Tay is pointing at the Winkles or the hexagons, being like, finish the project. Oh, that's awesome, Jeffrey. Yeah, it is fun to do. Tay just peeking it out of the corner over there. Well, let me grab an apron and let's get started.
Let's do it. Oh my goodness, my phone case is falling apart finally.
Finally, I think it started falling apart day one.
No, it didn't. But it's cracking off the back.
It's cracking. It's cracking off the back.
It is.
I don't think I've ever seen Jordan with a phone that wasn't broken in some way.
My phone is always broken. I know. It's really cracked
I,
right now, and the back is coming off like crazy. Zeke, have you ever done cabochons out of precious opals such as white, black, fire, and rainbow opals? She does need a hug, Sean. You'll have to come back.
yes, I have, Brian.
Zeke's like, I'm staying out of this.
No, I was ready to walk over there, give her a great big old hug.
She might, she might not like that. It's hot. She did just say she doesn't like the heat.
I don't have a good source for rough opals. I have gotten more Tay hugs than most people ever will. Two. Yeah, full two. That's so funny. All right.
Thanks, Ty. That's funny, Sean.
All right. Oh, you know what I'm thinking we start with here? I thought it would be fun to do some of these cabbing and tumbling pieces. And instead of slicing them up, because I know a lot of people are just starting off with a trim saw and a cab machine. So I thought it'd be fun to take some of these cabbing and tumbling pieces and turn them into cabs from there. That's hilarious, Kyle.
Hey, Jack.
All right. Get us adjusted here. So I'm curious, how many people in the room have never made a cab before? All right, this piece right here. I love this pattern shown right there, those nice chevrons. It's a little thick for a cab, but so what we're gonna do is kind of keep this face parallel and cut right here. So we can keep that pattern right there and make our piece.
Yeah, right now Zeke's working on this Model 6. This is a 6-inch trim saw, has the ultra thin blade on it. And I believe these are in stock.
I do love that
Hey,
ultra thin blade. It just glides through the material and gives you such a clean cut.
best best width for a cab.
There's not really a best with. It depends on the style of jewelry that you're doing. um, and or who you're selling it to. I prefer them to be a little bit thinner. Most people will cut a slab a 1/4 inch and then cut their cab from there. I find 1/4 inch to be a little on the thick side, but it also depends on the material. Some materials where it's more translucent, you want to have a little bit more um, material there to keep the color, or in something that's hard, is no problem to cut it down a little bit thinner.
The best thickness for high dome cabs.
I usually cut like a 3/8 of an inch. We'll definitely need to add a little water to the saw. We got barely enough here to keep cutting.
You want me to turn it on?
Yes, please.
Oh, my Lanza. It is warm here in Massachusetts today. Let me tell you. I'm half tempted to have Zeke spray me with that hose. I'm good.
I turned lickety split.
Yep, I know. That's why I put a little pep in my step to get away from there.
Oh, it's so funny. A little pepper.
For a more shallow dome cab, Zeke, what thickness would you recommend? That like 1/4 inch, maybe a little less.
I do a little bit less, like more like 5 millimeters, 5.5 millimeters. So I'll just give you a little perspective. If your 1/4 inch on your saw is 7 turns, um, that would be like doing 6 turns instead. Let's see, I think we kind of go with the natural teardrop shape here.
Oh, they want to see what that cross cut looks like, Zeke, with the triangles on it.
Oh, we could do a piece like that. That is a fun piece for the chevrons right there. These cabbing and tumbling pieces are great shapes for that because you could get several cabs out of that piece. Like honestly, you could do a whole set where this could be the pendant, and you could still cut a pair of earrings and a ring stone, and maybe even a cuff out of that. Yeah, plenty to work with there. I think one thing, especially in America, that you see is people make cabs really big. And that's one of the things that I did really well in my business to make cabs really small because then you get more out of your material. And they were very popular because they weren't humongous.
Do you guys want to look at some of those bins of the Chevron Amethyst cabbing and tumbling later?
I was thinking we might offer up a deal on them or something.
Oh, yeah, we can do that too.
Right now, I'm going to start by doing my girdle, where I'm going to work this. The girdle is this edge all the way around that the metal would hold on to when this is set in jewelry or whatever
Hey,
material you're
Amber.
using for jewelry.
He did say something like that, John.
Yeah, you want to work us up a deal on the Chevron Amethyst?
Yes. For those of you that were on last night, I showed Zeke the edit that Ed made of me on top of the Statue of Liberty.
That's so funny. Because this piece is rough on top, right now I'm not really starting my dome like I normally would. I'm kind of getting it flattened out a little bit more rounded off, so that I can start to work on the piece. I think this is a really fun way to cab because there's so many great little pieces like the cabbing and tumbling bins, or you get little mixed bins, or just find a little rock that are great for doing cabs. But I feel like a lot of people never take advantage of that because they're used to only working off of a slab.
How many pounds do you think seek for this material?
I would do like a 4 pound deal and then like a 10 pound deal and then maybe something crazy if you're feeling it. On a like
Four
maybe a
pounds,
50
10 pounds,
pound deal.
50?
Yeah.
Oh, on the same page tonight. I like it. All right, let me grab a clipboard and then I can come over.
And
And the
then
calculator.
as I work the girdle down, you can see I'm kind of doing these nice rotations. That's so I can work it down evenly, and then I'm also going to rotate the stone around so that I'm not working one side more than the other as I do my rotations. It's a little bit more practice when you're doing something that's not even like this because you got to work it evenly. And that's why I'll take the stone and hold it like this so I can see my girdle thickness and make it match all the way around.
Yeah, the Mozambique cabbing and tumbling mix is like the best. Super juicy material. Thank you, Ed. Very sweet.
All right. Well, it's looking pretty good shape for our 80 grit. Let's go over to our 220 grit and we're going to repeat the same process, but now we're cleaning it up, getting those scratches a little bit finer and yeah, adjust this thing again. I feel like it's falling right. Falling
And
forward.
then Zeke, any suggestions on how to get used to that motion? Is it essentially the 45 to 33-degree angle trick all in one?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by the 45 to 30 degree angle trick. But essentially, what I'm doing is taking my thumbs and my index fingers and doing a rolling motion where I'm pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward. So they're kind of like pistons firing off individually. And then as I go faster, it just looks smoother and smoother. So I'm just creating little circles all the way around. And you can see all those little ridges where I'm doing the circles. Those will get cleaned up here in a minute, but you can see exactly what I'm doing where I'm going around and leaving that ring all the way around. And then as I work it, I'll also come back and check my girdle a little bit, clean it up. I very much like to follow the same process every time I do a cab because then you're consistently hitting all the spots. Clean up that back edge to get rid of all the little chips. And then I'm starting back at the edge and working my way all the way to the middle, like a coin rolling on its edge till you get to the center.
And then I missed a question. Is it critical to have the girdle be the same size all the way around?
For the jewelry standpoint, yes. If you've ever done like silversmithing, it is a nightmare to set a stone where the girdle is uneven because then you end up with these highs and lows. It makes your metal wonky. And it's a real pain. If you're doing something like wire wrapping, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I mean, it's a little bit more like it is something to work around. It'll also just be more aesthetically pleasing if it's even all the way around. And it doesn't have to be like perfect. Like I'm not getting a set of calipers out and checking it, but You do want it to be
Uh,
pretty close.
do we ever get Peter site blue, red, gold, or mixed?
Occasionally, not very often on the Peter site. Good Peter site is getting harder and harder to come by.
And do they make a cerium belt for the expanding drum?
They make it for the wet belt sander. I don't know if they make it for the expanding drum.
All right. And then for the Chevron Amethyst cabbing and tumbling grade, which is the material that Zeke is working right now, Rough Rock 318 team. This stuff is normally 18 a pound. I'll have three deals for you guys. So a 4 pound deal is normally 72 bucks. Tonight we'll do it for 65. A 10 pound deal is normally $180. Tonight we'll do it for 158. And then if you want a 50 pound deal, normally that's 900 bucks. Tonight we'll do 50 pounds for 760. Hey, Sabrina.
All right, what I'm looking for now that I've got this off of the 220 is I'm looking for spots where I've still got aggressive marks from the 80 grit. You can see all that kind of lighter white scratching, especially in the purple. I'm looking for inconsistencies in that, like that little bit on the edge there. This looks pretty consistent and it's pretty smooth still. But if you saw a spot that was more like flat with deeper white scratches, that's going to be something that you're going to keep working on.
And
Now,
then rocks. Go ahead, Zeke.
those first two wheels were hard metal wheels for grinding and shaping. From here on out, they're going to be soft wheels where they kind of form to the stone a little bit better. So I'm pushing in a little bit more, and I'm not doing as tight of rotations. I'm doing a bigger sweeping motion with my rotations. And I'm just working on getting all those scratches and flat spots. This is where it's really going to start to smooth up and you'll get rid of all your scratches, or you'll make them finer and finer as you go.
And what about the pitting on the stone?
Not anything I would worry about. This stone doesn't really have any pitting. It just has where you get the little crystals that grew together, little spots in them. I wouldn't really call that pitting, but it's not anything I'd worry about.
That's a good shape for
People
that one.
people get very focused on that stuff, and honestly, a lot of people that are going to wear the jewelry like those kind of things because it feels more natural and raw. Like I had Eva here Sunday, and I was teaching her how to polish, and she every time we got to a new step, she's like, "Well, I want to leave some of it raw." You want that natural raw vibe, and that's very common for the people that are actually going to wear the jewelry. So it's not something I ever really change. I like both styles. I like when it has some naturalness to it, and sometimes I like absolute perfection. It's more stone based.
Yeah, and you see Zeke's rotating this stone as he's working it, making sure he's getting the scratches out of every area. That was the one thing that was hardest for me to remember to do when I first started. Like when Zeke first taught me how to cab, was remember to turn it.
Yeah, turning the orientation that you're holding it does make a big difference.
And
What
then
I mean by that is if you're holding it, like this, doing your rotations, you want to go this direction, then you want to go this direction, and so you're rotating the stone as you're doing your circular motion.
and then what stone types do you demand perfection from? Zeke, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, it really depends on the kind of the vibe. This is gonna sound a little hippie-ish, but it kind of does depends on the vibe of the stone. If I'm doing something that has natural flaws or bugs or little pockets in it, it's gonna be something that is gonna feel better being a little bit more natural. If you were doing something like think about that Jimmy chrysoprase that we were showing, those little perfect pieces. that's the kind of stone where I'd be like, man, I want it absolutely perfect. So it's really going to be the kind of the stone that dictates which one's going to look better.
And then I've been really struggling to get the scratches out at 280. How do you know if the wheel is worn? I have basic resin wheel that I've done maybe 20 to 30 face polishes and a few cabs. Oops, sorry, I lost it. And a few cabs with. Doesn't seem that it should be worn already.
You're probably not spending near enough time on the 220 grit, the this wheel right here. And so when you get to 280, you're trying to do the work of both wheels, and it's just going to take forever. It's not going to go very well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was the one spot that I always have to go back and get the scratches out of is like the outer edge.
Yeah, it's very common to not roll all the way out to that outside edge.
I love when you
That's
guys
going to
are
be a
asking
fun cab.
questions. When would you want to use DOPS and not work the stone by hand? Probably when you're doing like a really high dome cab, personally for you, Zeke, right? Hi, Kate.
A high dome or one that's so small that I can't easily hold on to it. I'm not a big fan of using dop sticks, but that's just not because they're bad. It's just personal preference. I like holding the stone. Let's see. Let me wipe this one off and we'll look at it again.
I find it difficult to decide which side to make the top as the display when I have a slab. Any suggestions?
Um, it's really just going to be about which side's going to be prettier, is how I decide. And so I'll often flip a cab over back and forth. So like here's a piece of variegated tiger eye. And so like I'll take it and flip it back and forth and just be like, which one do I think is prettier? On this personal one, like this side has a little bit more distribution of the yellow, but aesthetically, I find this side a lot more pleasing, so I would pick that as the top.
What is that technique, Brian?
You can see there's
Zeke
still
did
a
that
little
for him. God.
little inconsistency on our edges there where we haven't gotten all the little flat spots out yet. Although scratch wise, this looks pretty good. The girdle also needs a little bit more work.
What about the girdle needs work, like going around it again that way on that wheel?
Yeah, it's not consistent, and if you look like right there, you can see there's little tiny flat spots. It's also
Okay.
not even, and like the consistency of the scratches are not even as you go around. Like, see right there, how they're a little bit more white. That's because those scratches are a little bit deeper than the scratches that are up there. And so I can look at that and be like, oh, well, I need to take a little bit more off that. Otherwise, I'll get to the next step and it'll be like, oh, why didn't I get all the scratches out? Because it'll be more and more obvious.
Yeah, so you can see Zeke's pushing a little bit harder into this wheel. Are there some stones where a little fracturing is expected?
Oh, absolutely.
And then you initially grind, this is for the Johnson Conca's technique. You grind the dome at 35 degrees, then switch to shallower angles after that as you get closer to the center.
I don't like that method. It is a very common old school method where you usually result in a very thick fat stone. And so it works good for like high dome cabs. For something like this, it tends to make it really thick and tall, which I don't personally like. I like something that's a little bit lighter. Like if you think about this being for a pendant, this is still what I would consider a little on the thick side for a lot of people for actually wearing a piece of jewelry. That's probably pretty close to if you'd cut a 1/4 inch slab.
And then let me know when you're ready for the next one, Zeke.
Oh, go ahead.
What wheels slash grits are considered to be for shaping the stone and removing material, and which ones are just polishing and what is already there? Or for are just polishing what is already there. Sorry.
So hard wheels where they're metal backed, like the plated or centered wheels, those are going to be your shaping wheels. Everything else is just refining further and further. Now, obviously, if you've done a soft stone, you know that doing the even as high as 600 grit, you can still do some shaping, but your hard wheels are what's intended for shaping, and everything else is refining further and further after that.
Hey, Peta. What angle are you doing your first grind as you shape low domes?
I've never actually calculated the angle. Um, Generally, I'm gonna stick it on the edge of the wheel and rock it around like a coin. I'll do another one here so you guys can see. Let's see. Let's do this. We'll finish that one here in a second. And come back to the grinding wheel here so you guys can see.
And about how thick do you usually make your girdle?
I like it. Well, so the thinner the girdle, the less silver you're gonna use. Um, but also for a wire wrapper, it means that you have very little to hold on to. So if I was doing for like a wire wrapper, I would probably pick something like that. If I was doing for a silversmith, I'd pick something more, oh, slipping, something more along this line where it's a thinner edge and it tapers down a little bit more. It can be a little bit easier to hold on to with the metal. But it's really a lot of it is really just personal preference for the jeweler.
I know.
But so when I'm doing the domes, I'm gonna start just very shallow like this and rock it around like a coin. So you can see that very, very shallow angle right there.
Zeke, do you do much silversmithing?
I did as a kid. I actually did more jewelry making as a kid than I did cutting and polishing. But I got away from the jewelry making and more into the cutting as I grew my business and wanted to focus more.
Thanks, Jeff. And you can see as Zeke worked it off that, see how that circle in the middle is starting to get smaller. Zeke, I'm just gonna compliment you on the fact that your teaching has gotten a lot better
Oh, thank
over
you.
the past few years.
And you can see by changing sides, it helps keep it even.
It's easy to see on this material too. Hey, Sharon. He's getting wiser too. I love it.
And you can see it's almost keeping perfect shape with the shape of the cab. It's a little bit more rounded because I just did the ends. But that'll help as you watch the flat spot, it'll help keep you aligned to doing a nice even dome.
And then Zeke, can we show how to get the groove and the heart symmetrical and polished?
Yeah.
So for the cabin contest, why we're doing 3 entries is we are expecting that to be one of the biggest competitions that we've ever had. So we changed it from 5 to 3 to see how it would go for this one because our last one we had 5 and it was quite a bit. Hey, Terry. Yep, this is the cabin cut and chat. I like these ones. Do you grind a groove into the girdle for wire?
I never do that, but that is I feel like a more and more popular thing to do.
Team, when's that cabin competition? Did we pick a date?
So the contest will be on August 20th and the submission deadline will be on August 17th. And we will post the
Perfect.
mechanics in a bit, guys.
In the mechanics, will that include the divisions for the cabin contest and how to determine that? Or Zeke, do you want to
Yes,
touch on
sir.
that?
I have not given those quite yet, but yes.
Okay.
We're gonna do the as a self-selection because we're obviously not gonna go through and audit everybody's background. And so it's gonna be an honest based system for the whether you feel like you should be more in the advanced or more in the beginner um, entry. And I'm gonna give some guidelines as to how I think that should be selected, but it's going to be a honesty based thing. Because it's pretty much impossible for us to go through and audit every single person's background.
Hey, Jeffrey.
And then I'm just gonna repeat the same thing for the edge. Now we got a little bit of a soft spot up there. I should have grabbed that off.
I saw
But I'm
that,
just gonna
Robert. Thank
push.
you. Sorry, Zeke. Go ahead.
But because it's still on there, I'm just gonna push slider when we get to that spot. Or I can roll it around and just barely touch it.
Hey, Barbara. Welcome. But yeah, we'll be publishing the kind of guidelines. But I think that's going to be a really fun competition for you guys to do. And Zeke is working some of the variegated tiger eye right now. That's awesome, man. And Zeke, how long have you been cabbing for?
I started when I was around 6 years old, and I grew up in my dad's rock shop, and I did it after school just about every day as a kid because I was homeschooled. And when my dad's shop closed, I started my own store or my own business. And I got to where I was doing between 150 and 300 cabs a week to do shows and sell online.
Is this a material that you need to polish directionally on the higher wheels? Are there others we should watch out for that as well? It's more so cutting that you would need to do directionally.
Yeah, you have to line it up. Well, if you don't get it lined up in the saw properly, it doesn't matter which direction you polish it. It's not going to look. right? So when you line up a piece of the Tiger Eye, you got to line up for that flash in the saw. Oh man, that's a beautiful cab.
It is pretty blue. This is a really good batch Tiger Eye that John got. And then
Yeah, I was thinking we
Zeke,
should.
sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking we should do tote out of the Tiger Eye tonight.
Yeah, I'm down. And then, is there any parts that you missed about having, oh my Lanta, sorry, I cannot talk tonight. Is there any parts of running your own business that you miss?
Oh, definitely. Um, I miss the staying up all night and just cutting cabs because I needed to meet it was quota was I set for myself, but I needed to meet a quota of cabs. I miss the adventure of traveling all the time and the face-to-face interaction. Um, but honestly, as much as like I miss those things, I would never go back after working here.
And then, do you slash have you ever used dop sticks for cabbing, and would you recommend starting out using them or freehanding like you are?
There is nothing wrong with dopsticks. They're just a tool to help you hold the stone and help you hold the stone. I am not a fan of dopsticks because I'm impatient and I find that I can make the cab before the glue dries if I'm really just cutting for production. And so I don't tend to use them unless the stone is so small that I just cannot hold on to it.
And if you guys are, yeah, I know, right, Ed? If you guys are wanting a dot pro tonight, we have them in stock. They are 34.47, and it comes with the dop stick, the screws, the Allen wrench, and then the little board. I was gonna say when my hands get um like during the winter when my hands were getting really cold, my hands would cramp up, and using the dop stick helped with that a lot. Zeke does not still do shows, just these live events.
Yeah, I haven't actually done a show in like 3.5 years now. Like where you're going and setting up.
We do not, Vicky. Yeah, Casey, of course. Let's see. Team, y'all want to help me get a link for that, please? So good, Rox. Thank you.
I also do, if you'll notice, I do the girdle on the edge of the cab wheel because I so often people will just use the middle of the cab wheel and wear it out prematurely. And this helps use the whole wheel.
What did you guys think of John's cabbing select last night? I think there was some crazy good material in there. Are there any shapes you would avoid as a beginner?
No, I think you should try everything. And I think the harder the shape it is, the more often you should try it.
Oh yeah, we had fun with that iris agate last night.
Oh my goodness, Jordan, we gotta post up that first cab I ever made.
Okay. Any new rough coming in? Zeke, I'm leaving that to you.
Yeah, we have new rough setting out there. Just waiting for John to give me the approval on it.
I know.
Gotta get it checked in and inventoried.
What is in the hallway? Ghosts. I'm convinced. Sherman tells me there's not. There's some good material out there. But the 6Ps for cabbing, practice, 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 practice.
Ah, that soft spot is changing the shape in a way I don't like.
Me too, Sherry. Are there any really good cab makers we should look at for inspiration? Zeke's a really good cab cutter.
Um, I don't know of anybody that would be like, that's the person you should look at. I think you should kind of look at everybody to see what you like, because everybody has a different style. It's all preference. There is no right or wrong. There's just what you think looks the best. So like when I would make cabs, I would look at people that I'm like, I really like the way that they cut, and I'd learn from them. Or I would adjust the way I made a cab and be like, all right, this thing I think looks better. There you go. You can
Free
see it
fl
kind of smoothed out to be pretty smooth. I don't like the symmetrics of this because that soft spot really wore it in. Honestly, for me, where one of the places I will get inspiration is I like to go to museums and look at the jewelry. Yeah, let's finish that amethyst cap before I get too sidetracked. Um, I like to look at the jewelry and the high-end stones, and to me, that's what I would aspire to is that level of mastery. But if you're just getting started, I mean, anybody can be an inspiration. It really is just what you like.
Do we have any of the sphere cutters in the room? Brandon. I know Brandon's not in the shop right now, but Brandon, um, why are everyone's names escaping me tonight? Zeke, help me out here.
You're looking for sphere cutters?
Yes. Stuart,
Gregory,
thank you
Matthew,
guys.
Stewart.
All right. And then have you tried the Milk and Diamond on that?
On what?
On the Tiger Eye, Kent? Yeah, the Tiger Eye.
I don't think the Tiger Eye would make much of a difference. The leather and cerium does an amazing job.
And then they want to see that piece of chevron amethyst cut the other way for the triangle pattern.
No, okay. We can cut a piece. It'll be a little less exciting on, I think, these smaller pieces because you get less to see that, but we can do that. And then you can see this is just a repeat of the same process I'm just working it. And then we're gonna wipe it off. I do like to work in a pattern. One of the things that I see a lot of people struggle with is I just see them doing this kind of stuff at the cab wheel, and I'm like, why? Why would you do that? And it's because they really don't understand what they're doing. I feel most of the time, and so they're just doing a lot of random motion to get there. But the problem with that is it's very inconsistent, and you're missing lots of parts of the stone, and you're spending way more time than you need. That's why on every wheel, I'm following some kind of same pattern where maybe I'm doing circles and then rotating, or I'll do big, big all the way around and then get tighter. And I'm kind of working it in a pattern. Or maybe I'm doing a flat, flat edge stone and I'm working one direction, turning, working the other direction. There's one in the 20 over there.
On the higher wheels, is there much risk of major material loss?
Only if your stone is incredibly soft. After the 280, you're really not losing a whole lot. And after I mean, I don't know that I've ever done anything that was really getting shaped past the 1200. All right. Let me wipe this off and we'll take a peek at it.
What shape is easiest for a beginner?
Probably a freeform, or like a teardrop is a pretty good shape. Calibrated cabs require more symmetry, um, and things with a point are generally harder to do. Oh, so there's a little inconsistency in the surface there where it's a little bumpy still. So we need to work some of that out. And you can see right up to that edge, we're still not quite there. Calibrated is like a perfect oval or a round or a square where it's like anything you'd see off of a template where you're using a template, that would be like a calibrated cab. Freeform is just when you take it over the wheel like this and start cabbing. And now I'm going to work smaller circles all the way around. I'm just trying to smooth that out a little bit, get the scratches out. Especially this bottom corner right here needed some more work. I generally do not like to work just one area of the stone. If you have a problem with one spot, work the whole stone so that it stays even and consistent.
I learned that when I did like it was maybe the second teardrop I ever did, and I was like, oh no, there's an issue on the point, and then it just looked like a slump. I was like, oh nah. And then how much pressure should I be using on the resin wheels?
Enough where the stone is the wheel is forming the stone just a little bit, but I'm still not pushing super hard. Hardness is relative, and you just kind of got to feel it. You definitely feel when you start taking off too much, and we're removing resin off the wheel. Uh, Man, I was just thinking about when we were talking about shows. I was just thinking about how long it's really been since I've done a production run of cabs,
Probably a bit.
like 3.5 years.
When I started, I bought some ceram oxide. It was pinkish. Later, I bought some more. It was white. It said something about being 9. I didn't know there were different grades, and I don't know what number to get. I don't think my cabs are shiny enough.
Is it? I take it's not stuff that you bought from here. The color is really not an indicator. Um, and Syria, especially Amazon's a little all over the place because it's not Amazon selling it, it's whoever's selling on Amazon. Um, so I would probably look at getting different cerium, but it also could just be the stone that you're doing, and or it could be the technique that you're using for the cerium, or it could be that it's just not great cerium. Oh yes, yes, the way you use the cerium makes a big difference. I'll finish this cab with cerium so you guys can see.
Harder stones like agates and jaspers and kind of hard petrified wood you would use for cerium. right, Zeke?
Yeah, quartz, anything hard generally is going to be um Cerema.
We were showing Rosetta Lace last night, Zeke, and it made me think of that piece that Brian cut on you.
Oh, my Lanza. All right, this is our 1200 grit.
What would you use to polish barrels?
Barrel,
Barrel.
barrel. Um,
The things that come out of the
okay,
ground, not the 55-gallon ones, Zeke.
that's so funny. Um, mm, it depends on how cracked up it is, but I would probably use the leather and cerium unless it's really fractured. In which case, I'd probably use the milk and diamond, so that I don't get it all in the cracks. We
And
have a
then,
piece that someone gifted us here. We should make a tab out of that.
oh, we can do that. And then, textile gun, Sharon. I can send you a link if you want. And then, what type of polish do you recommend for softer stones like travertine? I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah, travertine, it's like an onyx. Milk and diamond would be the absolute best, although Zam will do decent.
And then I had a problem doing milk and diamond polish because my diamond powder got hard clumps in it. Is there any way to prevent this, and can the diamond powder be saved?
Got hard clumps in it. I've never experienced that before. Maybe it just needs a better mixing into the milk. All right, let's look at this thing,
And then
see
there's
how we're doing.
another question, Z.
Go ahead.
I've been working on a large Mozambique. It feels smooth, but once dry, looks mottled, but still shiny. I've tried different patterns, but get same result. Not sure what to do.
Here, like, so you're getting like the little tiny flat spots where it looks like kind of like molded clay that's been smoothed over. That looks pretty decent for 1200 grit.
It's all over like brain coral. Are you talking about like the polish on it?
From what you said, what I'm immediately think is that you didn't get all the little flat spots out of it, and you need to go back to 220 grit.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
All right, come over here to our 8000 grit oil. Speed the machine up. Oh.
And then I'll send that link over. Let's see.
Speed wise, I'm always at the fastest setting unless I'm doing my final polish. Um, the water for my aggressive grinding on like the hard wheels, more water is not gonna hurt. You want the wheels to be flushed pretty well. With resin wheels, and as you get finer and finer, you want less and less water. So ideally, just enough water to keep the wheel wet.
Did you skip 3000 grit?
Yes, I did. Just because that 3000 grit wheel is not good.
All set, Sharon. And then what materials were we gonna do tote out of? Probably the tiger out of start, I think, right?
I think we're good.
That tiger eye is so blue. And then do the wheels get hot enough to craze?
If you're getting the wheels that hot, then you're either pushing too hard or not using enough water. Do we have a bit of leopard skin down here?
Um, yeah, I believe it's almost empty, but we could probably do it.
It might have gotten taken upstairs if it was one of those ones. If we don't get to it, we can always do it tomorrow. Bring some down.
After tonight, how many of you are gonna go cut your first cab?
All right, let's dry this off, and then we're gonna do the cerium and leather on this. That's not bad. That's an okay polish.
Is canvas okay?
Generally we use canvas for milk. I've never tried canvas with cerium, but it might work.
We will have the day off for the 4th.
Oh, let me grab a spray bottle.
And then they're asking if you can go over charging the wheel.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
So the last live event for the week will be tomorrow. We'll be doing a tote night.
That's crazy. It's so rare that we
Get a live event
um
off.
I know, right? Miss a live event.
I know it's gonna feel weird.
All right. I'll show you guys bad technique with the cerium first because someone asked about it. So we'll start what a lot of people commonly do, where they just do it dry. And you can see that made a very minor difference on the edge, but not spectacular. And then the other way people go is way too wet. You can see the water flinging off there. Which again, it did make some progress. Now, if we do it the correct amount of wet, where it should feel like it's trying to pull the stone out of your hands, but not so dry that you're making dust. You definitely don't want water dripping off the leather. Um, if you look over by the 36, there might be one. You're muted.
What speed are you running on the dial, and are you running rough or smooth leather?
Always run rough on the leather, because to the rock it's still extremely soft. And about between 3 and 4 on the dial. And then when we run it where you get that nice pulling feeling, you can see how it looks glossy and wet now. So just a little bit of water, enough where it feels like it's trying to pull the stone out of your hand, but you still have control. Although you got to be careful about getting stones hot on this. And if it feels like it's getting too much, just add a little bit more.
And then we have CB6s in stock, right, team?
The team will check on it, Jordan.
Thank you.
That is nice. You can see just how much of a difference that makes. Like going from 8,000 grit to that is night and day difference. All right, let me go wash this off and then we'll look at the final thing there. When John taught me about leather and cerium, feeling that pulling feeling, it really changed how much I liked leather and cerium.
And then why do you go from 600 right to the leather?
We really only do that on like agates on the like bull wheel or if we're doing them on the wet belt sander. But you can when you're doing silicon carbide, it polishes differently than diamond. So you can go from 600 to the leather and still get a really good polish.
Is that
But
amethyst? Oh, go ahead.
when you're using silicon carbide, it doesn't behave the same as diamond. What were you gonna say, Jordan?
Is the amethyst one that you would polish on the back?
It would definitely help a little bit. I didn't polish the back of this one, but it could help keep some of that richness. This one's dark enough that I didn't really worry about it.
That's a good shine on there. And then can you expand on the Ed, is that cerium or silicon carbide?
The difference between diamond and silicon carbide, is that what you're asking?
I think so, yeah.
Diamond, as you wear it, stays the same grit. Silicon carbide doesn't. Silicon carbide also does better drier, whereas diamond does not. And so, like the way like if you take a stone off of 600 silicon carbide where you did it really well, and 600 diamond, the 600 silicon carbide is going to look better. But silicon carbide also breaks down faster and doesn't remain the same grit. It gets finer and finer. Let's see. Let's do some of these other little cabbing pieces, actually. I'll let you guys pick. I got three here. We got this, I think it's red striped jasper. I don't know. We haven't even started selling this. It's in the bin over there, but we haven't shown any of it.
You want me to do something on it?
Yeah, we can offer that up. Then we got the green aventurine, and then the spinel and the matrix.
Two people for spinel, three people for spinel. Oh wow, looks like everyone wants that.
All right, we can offer that up.
All right, let me
Or show that one up. How much is the spinel?
let me check.
We'll do the same thing. Just cut our little piece off on the trim saw here.
It's 15
Give
a
me
pound,
those
Zeke.
pieces. No, that's not bad at all.
It's from
15 a
India.
pound on that. So if you guys want to order that 15 pounds, I'd probably get like 3 pounds of it as a good size bin.
Zeke, are we gonna look at any spinatra? I just mixed those two words up. Oh my
Spinacha.
goodness, I have clearly not had enough coffee today. I'm losing it. Any
Well,
Sumatran rough that we're gonna look at tonight?
what's funny is that I knew what you were saying, but it was funny to hear the spinatrin.
I can't. I'm like, okay.
Oh, we can look at the Sumatra agate tonight.
I did. I put a little twist on it.
That's funny, Paul.
I love that song. How hard is this, Zeke?
Feels like maybe a 5 or a 6. One thing that can help with your slab thickness is having, cutting it on the bottom or making, picking a face that's kind of flat. And then I like to actually use my finger kind of like point so I can see a little bit of a guide there. This one's not super flat, but flat enough.
What blades do we have in stock for the 6-inch trim? Team, y'all want to check that, please?
I think this one, I wanted to do it with that white line, but I'm not quite loving it. So I want to cut one of my favorite shapes.
A Wankel or the
No,
rectangle one?
I'm gonna do a triangle and then grind the corners off. Yeah, that's about 1/4 of an inch. I was looking to see if I had a tape measure. I was like, oh, we can see how close I guessed it.
You want me to grab one?
Sure. You gotta sit up a little bit closer to the wheel over here. I don't know how I had it before, but I like the angle. I feel like it was a good angle to see what I was doing. All right. Let's see how accurate I was.
No.
That's pretty good for just eyeballing it. Just a hair over 1/4 inch.
It looks like 3 hairs to me, but that's still pretty good. I'm just kidding.
So sassy.
I'm just
For
kidding.
this one, for this one, instead of rolling it around, I'm gonna go flat into the wheel. I'm gonna start my dome that way. And we'll keep flat edges on this stone. You see I worked it in a little bit more. I'll go around and repeat that. Probably get to the center dash.
And then, question for you, Zeke. Just now you read that rock. Other than experience, how do you decide what shape to use, cracks, holes, etc.?
It's, I mean, cracks are one thing. You don't want to have a crack running down your cab. As a general rule, I try to cut all or at least most out. Um, what I how I chose this one was just aesthetically. I was like, I know I'm gonna like that shape, and I didn't like the white in that one, even though I thought I was going to. So I just decided to cut it out. And then I'm gonna take and dome the points. This is definitely one I'd put more like on a 5. This is a very common shape I used to do.
Is there a standard shoulder?
No, it's all preference. And if you're the jeweler, that's really where the preference is going to be is, I think we're talking about the girdle, the edge here.
That is
It's
true.
really, the preference is really going to be for the person that sits it in jewelry.
Yeah, so right now Zeke's just getting his shape ready. How many of you
This
guys
is a
put in
little
me in?
bit.
Go ahead.
This is a little bit softer than I thought when I was cutting it. Now that I'm grinding it, it's probably more like a 5. So I started with the 80 grit, but I was like, I'm gonna move over to 220, so I'm not grinding as fast.
All right. Put a me in the chat if after this cut and chat you guys are gonna um enter that cab competition. I hope that's the most entries we've ever had is for that one. Awesome. I think they're still working up on the mechanics for those ones to get posted.
We have the initial mechanics for this one, Jordan, but we can explain further right after. I'll be
Okay.
sending it on the chat now. So here is the
Lovely.
mechanics for the cabbing contest. So Zeke will dig deeper on the selection process, and as you mentioned earlier with the details. So be ready to show off your cabbing skills if you're just getting started or you've been creating beautiful calves for years. This contest is for you. The contest rules is self-selection. You may enter only one category, beginner or pro. So you must only choose one. You cannot enter the same. You cannot enter both category. You only your email must include chosen category, and if your category is missing and you do not respond to our follow-up request, your entry will be disqualified. So the mechanics is maximum of 3 entries per submission. So that would be in an image format. And entries must be the original work of the participant. No digital edits, must be the original photo. Include your full name, a brief description, and label of your piece, materials used, inspiration, etc. Email your entries to events at hplapidary.com, and a confirmation email will be sent once the entries have been successfully received. So the submission is until August 17th, and the contest date will be on August 20th. So good luck, everyone, and we are looking forward to all your submissions. Good luck, guys.
Thank you, Marvin. Does anyone have any questions on those just kind of general guidelines so far?
I haven't fully decided yet, but I think the guideline that I'm thinking is that the beginner is going to be like a year or less of experience. So if you're only cutting one cab a week and maybe you've been doing it for 2 years, that's still fine because you're talking about 50 cabs. Or you could do it, if you've done less than 100 cabs, do it as a beginner category. And then anything over that would be more where I would be leaning to the higher category. Um, it's a self-selection process. So it's not like I'm not going to follow up with everybody and determine their skill level.
Is it
So
just gonna be like bear cabs, or can it be like wire wrapped or mounted or a pendant?
I do not care if it's in jewelry or wire wrap, or
Yeah,
things of that nature.
we're just gonna do 2 categories to begin to kind of get a feel for the format. And then if it goes well, we're gonna expand a little more. So we're just gonna do the 2 to start with.
Well, we may do them on different nights because in the future, because I mean we're basically that's 2 competitions on one night.
Did he get water on the screen? I can't
So
see.
it's not feasible to do 3 categories in one night because we did talk about that. That's also why we're limiting it to 3 entries.
It's gonna be a fun night though. The competitions, they're so easygoing. It's like, how can you not have a good time doing those? You know what I mean?
Well, and even with the competitions we do now, a lot of the people that win, not necessarily people that have been doing it for years and years and years, is really about practice. Good machine does help. Some people are also just naturally more skilled. I've taught lots of people how to cut stones, and some people right off the bat, I'm like, oh, they're going to be great. And some people, I'm like, it's going to take some practice, but you can get there. Kay and I were talking about this the other day about, we were talking about athletes and because it's a lot of it is natural skill, and then you get your practice and devotion in there as well. I think if you're talking, starting, you're muted.
Oh, that'll make a lot of sense. What shapes did you find sold better when you were doing shows?
Tear, Teardrops are the most popular ones, but people liked when I do funky shapes like this. They were also pretty popular. But if I could only pick one shape, I'd say teardrops did the best.
Love it, Marvin.
Oh,
Thank
I
you.
love that. Hey, Marvin, would you send that to me too?
Sure, Zeke is on that one.
Thank you. That's awesome. I'm kicking the wheel again. Those spikes are polishing up really good for the multiple hardnesses.
Does this glow in UV? Hey, Glenn.
Oh, I don't think so, but we can try.
I'll grab a light. What is it made up of?
Fennel, probably hornblende, and I'm not sure what the white is. It doesn't feel like quartz, but it could be. Could also be schist.
Will Antarctica cabs be allowed in the cab contest?
Yes.
Crazy. Like that.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you can submit Antarctica cabs.
And then what about carved cabs?
That might just like a cab with a carving done into the top of it.
And then would tumbled cabs count?
Yeah, as long as it's a cab. That's a very common way to finish polishing cabs. That was fun. And it was not fluorescent.
What about cabs that have been entered before but never placed or won?
I think that's fine.
Are you on that? Is that 1200 that you're on right now?
Yeah. You can see because it's the flat edges, I'm just rolling it up on those flat faces. I'm not doing that dome motion. And then we'll come over here because we got higher grits on this one. This is 8,000, 14,000, and 50,000.
I really like that progression a lot.
Yeah, it does give you a very nice polish.
Anyone else have any questions on this? Just grabbing a water bottle. How do you enter a cab into the cab competition? What you're going to do is email your 3 entries to events@hplapidary.com. Team, y'all want to throw that in the chat, please? And we will not be in the warehouse on the 4th of July. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's gonna be weird. Normally I see all my coworkers 6 days a week, so one day without them, it's gonna feel like an eternity.
You're going 3 days.
Well, yeah, that's true. I am going 3 days. Thank you, Zeke, for pointing that out. I forgot tomorrow's Friday.
I know. I won't see you for 3 whole days. It'll be Monday.
It's very crazy. I
Oh,
know. When I go away for the week, I'm like, what am I gonna do?
no, you don't have to go. It's fine. 3 days is enough.
Hold on, it just clicked what you said. No, you'll
I
be fine
know.
for a week.
I know. I can see it on your face.
I was reading. Team, can you help John out with that, please? Do you ever dress the resin wheels?
I do not.
What does that mean? I'm sorry, I've never heard that before.
Like when they're new, taking something to them to make them less aggressive. But
Oh, okay.
like ours are already so smooth to start with that it's really not a problem. Some people do. I never do it.
When are we gonna get the update on the rocks that have been tumbling?
Fort Rock.
Exactly. Probably the Tiger Eye and the Laguna that you preformed.
As soon as I teach Jordan how to do tumbling.
Don't put it on me.
That was funny as well.
Whenever Zeke takes the initiative to be like, all right, Jordan, we're learning.
Yeah, that's what I said whenever I teach you.
Mm-hmm.
We literally just said the exact same thing.
Yeah, I know. He's super thoughtful because he's kept that in the back of his mind. Like, I'm gonna let Jordan do that.
Hey, you said it.
You were thinking it, I know. And then they're wondering if we can stop by the Shaping Machine tonight.
Oh, we definitely can.
Oh, that's awesome, Ellen. Zeke, is it possible to zoom in a little bit?
Yeah. Put the tripod up here a little bit closer than I know.
Hey, do you know how to get these fans up and running that are above us? Or are they on a timer?
You have to do it from the breaker box because they're on a timer.
Oh, okay.
Let's dry this off and see how it works.
And then, team, I'm gonna step out for 1 minute, so I won't be by the TV to read the answers to read the questions off for Zikri.
Got you, Jordan.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
Oh, came out pretty nice. I do like doing the rounded corners off that.
Well, where would you drill that one from, Becky?
I don't normally drill the cabs, but if I was gonna drill that one, I'd drill it up at the top up here, so it would hang like that.
And from Lonnie, do you have an estimate of what RPM you are running, Zeke?
On this one, it's gonna be like 1750. This is the Spinel in Matrix. How much was that a pound again, team?
This one is 15 a pound for the spinel.
15 a pound. Yeah, we got plenty of that if you guys want some of that to play with. Let's go finish that tiger eye. Now, I'll show you guys one of my other favorite tools over here. I love the expanding drum because this is great for speeding up your polishing process. Let's see, although these belts are pretty worn, we'll make do. So on this tiger eye, you can see there's still a little bit of the white scratching in the center there. We're gonna run this on the silicon carbide to get rid of those. Let me see if I can. Let me adjust the tripod for a second and get you guys a little bit closer on this one. A little bit of a earthquake moment. Well, here we go. A little bit better of an angle. All right. There we go. I feel like that's a better viewing point. This is silicon carbide on this belt. I like the expanding drums to be able to use with the silicon carbide. They are so fast at being able to take flat spots and scratches out. This is another one we'll finish polishing with the cerium. Pressure is very relative. It's a hard thing to describe. I'm not pushing super hard into this, but I'm pushing hard enough that I can feel it grinding. Pressure is kind of one of those things that you, as you do it and experience it, you kind of get a better understanding for. That's
And
400 grit.
thanks, Zeke. Have you answered this one, Zeke? Are the expanding wheels firmer than the resin wheels?
Yes, they are a
I
little bit
see.
firmer. I do really like the expanding wheels though. That's how I was able to make so many cabs so quickly is because I would use the wet belt sander with the diamond or the silicon carbide belts on there to take all my flat spots and scratches out. That is a fun stone. Let's dry that off.
Are there
Does it
various grip belts for the expansion drum? Yes, there are. And then I believe we carry up to either 800 or 1,000 for the expanding belts. And then does
for,
it matter what
for the
brand of
jam machine?
resin? Yeah, for the cab machine. Does it matter what brand of resin wheels as to the stiffness of the backing material?
I'm sure different brands have different firmness to them. I don't know that I've ever really noticed. It's not something that's important enough to worry about. Unless there's something out there that's crazy that I've never seen before, making it really hard. But most of the ones I've used, firmness is very similar.
Ooh,
I am
did you drop
very,
something?
yeah, there's a slab that had been set on the bottom there. I am very tempted to just grind that brown spot out because it's so much softer. I do not like the way it's affecting the oval.
Mm.
It's very dissatisfying.
There's no better feeling than a clean shop. Seriously, I'm so happy with how the lab's been kept. I was telling them
Hmm.
yesterday, Zeke, about the kid that visited Tobias and
Oh yeah,
how he reminded me of you. I was like, that's a mini Zeke. He's
that's so
just
funny.
he's how long was he cutting for? Maybe a year or two?
I can't remember.
And
He
he's
talked to him a good
16.
bit longer than I did.
Yeah, I texted Zeke. I was like, you have to get down here. This kid, he's just starting cutting and had a great attitude and asking asking a bunch of questions to Zeke and everything.
It was a lot of fun.
See you in a bit, Jeffrey.
I do like that more. I'm not in love with that shape yet, but I do like it a lot more. Even though it looks kind of funky, it's better than the out of round brown spot. Although one thing you can always do is hide that kind of stuff with the jewelry. So where you don't see it or even like that, you could put it something there in the piece of jewelry so that you don't realize it's not an oval.
True. Can't wait to start doing the wire wrapping.
Yeah, we should set up for that. That's a pretty easy thing to do.
How many of you guys are wanting to get into the wire wrapping that haven't done it before? I know I'm looking to get into it. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, we should get set up to do some of that. I think that'd be super informational for you guys. Good skill to have.
How many people in here are already wire wrappers?
Cynthia teaches it. Sharon does wire wrapping. Robert does. Sharon wire
Well,
wraps.
that's awesome.
Very nice, you guys.
I was waiting for Ed to chime in with something about wrapping.
Yeah. He is. Just a little bit, Ed. Not too much, though. You always keep us on our toes. And we've gotten John on 2 nights in a row now. He came in last night, Zeke. I was like, I summoned you. He was like, you summoned me. I was like, yeah, you popped in. I know,
That's so
right?
funny.
That is true. Notice the no posting of deals.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, man. Mary is awesome.
Mary's so sweet. Hi,
I still,
Jordan.
I'll constantly hear that. Mary, get your hands out of your pockets.
That's so funny. Whenever Mary needs something, it's always like she's like, "Are you still at the warehouse?" And it's like just when I'm pulling into the parking lot at home. And she goes, "Oh no, that's okay, tomorrow."
I do love this variegated tiger. You guys want to dig through this bin tonight?
I do.
That's such a fun material. It's like one of those timeless classics. Like it's never going out of style.
Your wallet says no, that's funny. Oh, and then last night, Zeke, we wanted to look at more of that Chrysoplum.
Well, it's a good thing I set some up for tonight then.
Oh, you did. I was gonna ask. I meant to ask earlier today. It was slipping my mind.
I was like, we should do some of that. Apparently, we were on the same wavelength, even though we did not communicate about it.
Okay, I like when we're like that. When it's like, all right, we're on the same thing today. Zeke, how easy is it to forget about how many different types of rock we have here? I'd say pretty easy,
Very,
right?
very easy. Extremely easy.
How do the deals work? Are these on the main website? No, you're welcome. Welcome in, Timothy. Don't be sorry at all. So if you want any of the deals that we offer tonight, you just put it in the chat, and the team will pick it up and they'll invoice it out for you. Exactly, Jack. Coral for everyone. I wish we had Seraphonite. We do not have any at the moment. And then is there a way to buy a mixed cabbing and tumbling lot?
We really don't have a mixed bin to do that out of. If I was probably the easiest way would be to get like a pound of several of the tumbling materials. We kind of sort it all out, so it's not mixed. Did we pin up the other camera? Or are you guys still looking at the cab? That's after 1200 grit. We'll get this thing mirror shiny. Yes, this well it is. Pass the quality checks, but it it's still very usable. So I was like, I'll take it. You know, it was so funny earlier. Kay was like, Jordan, are you listening? And then immediately had no idea what Kay said. I was like, huh?
I can't hear. My hearing's been really bad lately. Like with the, I feel like I like definitely have an ear infection. I need to go get checked out. Well, using that wheel puts stress on the bearings.
Not any more than me using the machine. It'll cause a slight more vibration, but not crazy.
Alrighty. What is our finest grit? Is it the 50,000?
Yeah. Yeah, let's wipe this off and check it.
I love the color of that teal wheel.
That's so funny. Jordan's picking grits by color.
Well, yes.
I do really like that color too. Uh, I'm gonna head over to the Cerium because that's still kind of not that great. So the Cerium will really improve that. And I go kicking the camera again. All right, you guys can take a mental image of the shine there. When we shine the wheel, you just take the cerium oxide and mix it into a paste like yogurt and then paint it on the wheel. And then I'll take my thumb and work it in.
And did we skip the 3,000 grits, Zeke?
Yes.
Why?
Why'd you skip the 3,000?
That wheel's not good. And it's not necessary if you're going up to the 8,000 or 14,000. You can already see the shine difference the cerium makes from there to the other side over here.
I love the Tiger. It takes such a good finish. What's wrong with the 3,000 wheel?
I don't know if it's dirty or contaminated, but it's leaving scratches. Probably needs to be taken off and given a really good scrubbing with an aggressive brush. But if you're doing other grits, you can skip it.
Thanks, Marvin.
Fabulister would also be on a cotton wheel. But I do like that you guys are sharing that.
Is tonight helpful so far for those of you that are just learning? Is a cotton wheel the same as a felt wheel?
No. I can show you guys what I'm talking about.
Do we sell a canvas wheel for the CB8V? Not, I don't believe so, right, Zeke? We just sell the leather and
Not,
felt.
yeah, not yet.
What is the felt wheel used for?
You can use the felt with the cerium instead of leather. Some people prefer the felt over the leather. That is nice and shiny. Let me go wash this off and show you guys the final results.
You're funny, Ed.
I do love when you do the final polish on some materials, how they just glow.
Definitely.
Like I remember polishing Tiger Eye as a kid. We didn't have a leather wheel like that to do the polishing on, and I just never got the results I wanted. And now when we do it, it's like, oh, it's like a mirror. That glass-like finish makes me very happy.
Yeah, we're gonna go through this Tiger Eye taupe. Such a good shine, Zeke.
Thank you. This is definitely one you can get lost in just turning it back and forth, looking at that chatoyancy.
All I think of is when we were showcasing the new blades for those first few nights, and you were just wiggling the light around on them. And John and Sherman were like, dude, you're making me sick. You gotta stop.
That was so funny. Sherman especially would be like, "You got to cut it out, dude."
He was like, you're making me sick.
All right, let's look at this piece here. The problem is this slab is so cool, I can't really decide where I want to cut it. Like everywhere I'm looking, like, man, I know it's kind of a shame to cut it up. Although I could make like a bolo tie cab out of that area.
Thanks, Gary.
Let's see. I have a thought. Might actually use a template for this.
Busted for tumbles. Oh no.
Busted for tumbles. What blasphemy. Let's see. Do you know where the brass screw is? Oh, right
Intarsia
here.
table.
It's right here.
Perfect.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. This is a shape I like a lot. It kind of encapsulates that nice eye up there. Gives you kind of a nice flowing pattern. Good pattern there. Ugh. A little painful to chop this one up. It's such a nice slab. Let me adjust the lake here so you guys get a little bit better angle. I know, it is a really good display piece.
You can hear Zeke's heart breaking a little bit.
That's true.
Oh, goodness, Robert.
It happens where you're cutting in front of people and everything goes wrong.
Zeke's on a 10-inch trim saw.
When I first started, it bothered me a lot when I made mistakes, but then you just realize it's like, oh, everybody makes mistakes, and it's more authentic if you throw in a couple mistakes.
We have these 10-inch trim saws in stock right now as well. We're running water in the saw.
Oh, this is gonna be such a cool cab. Yeah, I'll turn on the water.
How thick is that slab, Z?
I do not like when you call me that.
I'm
It's
sorry.
about a quarter inch.
Lizelle calls you that, so I can't help it.
It's different when Lizelle does. I don't know.
Okay. Lizelle just calls him Z, but I see it in the chats all the time, and I'm like, oh, well, that's what I'm calling you. He'll be fine. You're working the girdle first.
Yeah, getting that shaped up right to that brass line. This is a cab that I will spend more attention to detail on because it's such a nice material and it deserves so much more.
Speaking of mistakes, I posted a Fallen Tree Thunder Egg a few days ago. Oh, Brad, did you crack it?
Crack what?
A Thunder Egg that he was gonna polish. Oh my goodness.
The
When I experienced that the other day, I was like,
yeah, phone getting ready to die.
I'll grab the other one. Can the 10-inch trim saw cut slabs from smaller rocks? Yeah, it can.
Oh, Absolutely. I do think that's a great shape for this.
Oh yeah, I like that. How thick is that slab, Zeke? I know you said I couldn't remember.
Just a little less than quarter of an inch.
Any tricks to getting that new mud bucket out of the EC2?
No, I usually, if I'm having a struggle, I'll grab both sides like this and then push down with my thumbs. Stick my fingers in there and push down like that.
Hey John, what is the advantage of configuration with an expandable drum other than it's wider? Why do you prefer it, Zeke?
It's a lot faster to get your scratches and flat spots out on the hard materials. So you can get a lot more done, or if you're doing agate, you get your scratches out really fast.
Anyone else have any questions? This may be just popping in, watching Zeke do this cab. And what wheel are you on
Because
now? One of
of
the
80 grit, because this is such a big cab and these are kind of flat edges, I'm still kind of working it one side at a time, and then I'll smooth it out with the dome.
This is Indonesian Chrysoplum. And then team, can y'all get that information for Sean, please? This is one of the Thank you guys. You're welcome. Anytime, happy
I
to help.
moved over here to 140 grit on the CV8.
And then I have a question. I put a new felt pad on my machine. Do I get it wet when I use it or just the paste?
You get it wet, just like we do the leather and cerium.
How much can the diameter increase on the expanding wheel?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how much it expands. I don't think it's more than a couple millimeters.
I just watched that movie the other week. And then John says, I was taught to progress from the 8,000 to 14,000 to 50,000. It seems you tend to go from 3,000 to serum.
It depends on what you're polishing. A lot of things, like if you watched earlier when we did the Tiger Eye, it'd have made no difference past 3,000 to the leather if we went at 14 or 8, 1450. The polish wouldn't have gotten any better. I think the old school rules of polishing are a little too rigid and unflexible because there's no rule that says you have to follow that grit order. You can kind of bounce all over the place as long as you're getting the effect that you want. I'll skip grits all the time if I don't find them necessary or I don't think they'll actually help me. I think that's where it becomes more and more important to look at where you're at with the stones rather than just following a process, but that comes only with experience. Nothing will ever be experience. If you really want to master doing something like this, just doing it over and over and over again is the only way.
I like that shape.
Yeah, I like this one a lot too. Because as you grind the top, the taper of the dome is going to change the edge. And if you get any little chips in the edges, now, when you're on your hard wheels is the best time to get those out. Constantly checking them and improving them. Thank you. Yeah, I started with less than a little less than quarter inch, and I'm tapering it out so that it's pretty thin. especially where it's something this big. This is a huge cab. Um, if you think about the setting that you would have to put that in, how much more weight you're going to add to that if you make this into a piece of jewelry. Having that thin bezel on there will really help reduce your weight. And it also reduces the weight of the stone significantly.
I love the expanding drum. Will it end up same thickness on all sides?
Yep. Or at least as close as I possibly can make it.
Will it be so translucent that your bolo tie hardware will show through?
Like the silver. This one will definitely show silver. Oh, I mean, if you like glue a backing on there. If you did glue a backing on this one, it would show. You'd be able to see where it's glued on. Yeah. On the flip side, that's a bonus when you set it in a piece of like silver to a lot of people. This is also one that we're going to polish the back of.
Yeah, this is a really good this is always a good topic to be teaching because there's new people getting started doing this every single day.
I'm realizing too from watching this that apparently I need to do more high-end stuff when I'm teaching because I'm definitely putting a lot more care into it.
Yeah. How will you set it?
This one, I would set up, so it's that orientation. I probably would do um something where I did a couple small stones of blue on this side and then put a bright red stone on the other side. Do like a big necklace. The blue on the right will help make the blue in the stone pop, and the red will make it contrast very bright. Move yours over just a little bit. Polishing the back of this one will also help keep a little bit of that blueness.
Zeke, are you doing anything this weekend? Anything fun?
I think Kay and I are gonna go watch some fireworks in Boston. And then I will probably meal prep and nap all day Sunday.
Oh, nice. With Eva.
No, Eva's out of town seeing her family. I might see her
Oh,
Sunday night, but I won't see her most of the day. I'll probably
that's
get a good
right.
run in. Maybe go to jujitsu. It'll be a very chill weekend. Nothing crazy this weekend.
Nothing crazy. Daniel says spill the tea.
Which tea?
Yep, no show on this Saturday.
All right, time to check it. You can see that missed that edge right there. You still have lots of little flat spots. I'll probably go back to the 280, but this helps get all the scratches out. Having a wet belt sander next to your cab machine also really helps. That's what I would do in my shop.
In my shop in Utah. Is that a crack on the upper left?
It's where the quartz is coming together. You can see there's a vein of quartz there, and that's where it's a seam that grew. So it's not really a crack. It's where the crystals all grew together, and there's just a little. It is definitely a weak point, but it's not really a crack. This is where the crystals came together. Oh, I do love this cab. All right, let's go back to 280 grit.
Back to 280.
You know, it's getting serious when I start walking between three or four machines.
How lucky are we though that we get to do that?
Right. I mean, everything that I'm doing could be done on one machine. I just like to have them set up so that I can use more if I need to.
Did our expendable have 220 grit on it?
I'm out of 220, so it was on there. It was a 400.
Yeah, once they get that move, so we'll be able to pull some stuff once they're done with that big move. They're reorganizing all our inventory, so we don't want to mess up their counts. Yeah, this material, I was very surprised. Like when it said Crystal Plume Like I looked at a rough chunk and I was like, what is that gonna do? And then the team, like when the team was shipping, I was like, does someone have a cut piece? Because I'm like, all of y'all are packing it, and I was like, someone has to have a cut piece to show me. And then they're like, okay, come quick. They're like, I don't want to. They love keeping the stuff flowing out. And so it was Will, and he was like, oh, Jordan, I have a cut piece. So he was like, come look at this one. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like that's a banging material. Um, but everyone was like, no, we got to keep going. Like they're like, we want to clear our racks out. I'm like, I just wanted to see it real quick.
That is really funny.
Do you tend to do more of
Yeah,
like a shallow dome?
yeah, I was never a big fan. I mean, there's materials that call for a high dome for sure. Um, but I was never a big fan of doing high dome cabs. I think it gives it such a much sleeker look. You use a lot less material. The settings are easier when you cut them like this. And honestly, this style of cutting, or how I do the girdles and the thickness of the cabs, is one of the reasons I was so successful when I had my cab business, because I found that a lot of people prefer this.
I know, Sean, I like your taste a lot. What tote are we gonna do next, Secret?
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. I am so focused on this. I am like so in La La Land.
I know, I'm like, the mic die.
This is like true enjoyment right here for me doing a piece like this. Like I can appreciate a lot of material, but doing this cab is one that I'm like, I am so lost in the process. Just having a great time.
Thanks, Cynthia. New materials. We got that Chrysoplume, the Howardite, Picasso marble. What else? I think that was it. Is everyone signed up for that giveaway that's coming up? The RT6 and then the HT14. We are all out of the Moonstone, unfortunately.
Let me check this one.
Zeke, are we gonna do that blooper reel?
That would be pretty funny.
I think they would like to. I think they would enjoy that quite a bit.
Oh, they definitely would.
The 14 would be a phenomenal addition to anybody's shop. Oh, Zeke, I used the slab
Oh,
grabber the other day. I didn't get it. I didn't put it in the saw, but I got a feel for it and I like it a lot.
oh, that's awesome.
How would you mount the side stones?
Just same when you put it, you'll do all your bezels at the same time.
Is there a crack in this?
No, this is what you're seeing right there is where the quartz grew together.
Have you
And
ever run a
Becky.
decibel reading on your machines?
Some of them. No, not snappable. Which machine? I think the only one that really checked was like the tumblers and the reciprocating laps.
Team, can someone reach out to Stephanie, please? Get her helped out. Awesome. Y'all are the best. Thank you. Of course. Thanks, Marv.
Yeah. Let's go to the next wheel. Your 600.
All right, team, y'all want to do that for Becky, please? I do have a thing of the red Jasper rough. I can show you guys that.
Is there anybody thinking about a cab machine tonight?
That is the red Jasper. Let me just grab a spray bottle. Turn this around.
We lost the mouse.
Yep, I did. Got to retrace my steps from the last 10 seconds. Got it.
All right, let me check this one.
Zeke, have you ever run across anything that resembles Kambaba Jasper from Oregon? Maybe some of the Rocky Butte? Maybe.
Rocky Butte was actually a pretty good guess. Not that I can think of. That's on 600.
What would the retail value be of the finished piece of that cab, Zeke? Well, once you're done.
I'm thinking about 225 is what I put on it, but I'll confirm when I have it finished.
Oh, I picked one of those cabbing select bins earlier, Zeke, that we were doing.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
I had a little too much fun.
I'm not surprised.
I
I
looked
did a
at the
couple
end
of
and
them too, and I had a little much fun.
I looked at the end. I was like, "Oh, Lady Liberty in full force." Do you weigh out for carrots? Team, you want to post the Almejo deal, please?
No, if I weigh the cabs, I do them in grams. Um, Probably a couple shows if I'm still doing shows. Although often, if I got a new material like this and cut pieces like that, I'd sell most of them the first show I did. I mean, I didn't start there, but I had enough people that knew. Like, if I still had my shop in Utah, I would cut a tray of cabs out of this stuff, and I'd invite all of my best customers over to the house and be like, "All right, I'm giving you guys first pick through the material." And then after that, I'd take the rest of the shows, and a bunch of people would come see me at the shows that knew I was gonna have nice stuff.
This is the Crystal Plume. Yep.
When I was at the end before I moved out here, when I was doing like 3 day shows, I was doing between 10 and 15,000 every weekend on those bigger ones. And then a small, like 1 day show, I was usually doing between 2 and 5,000, depending on how good the show went.
And then cabs so often are sold for 10 to 30 bucks. How do you find the market to sell one for over 200?
You have to build it. There is no just place where you can go and sell a cab for $200. It's something that you have to build. I personally would the last year of my shop, I wouldn't cut a cab for less than 25 bucks. So like that was the low end of what I was doing. Um, and there's actually a huge market for high-end cabs. I mean, I've sold cabs that were $2,000 for a single cab. But there's plenty of market out there. There's cabs. I've seen cabs that were in the $20,000 range. It's about building that clientele and getting your skills good enough and finding the right person that wants something of that caliber. I mean, you're not going to get those kind of prices for just anything. It has to be something special and unique.
Is it generally rare material or something else that makes them go that high?
Rare, unusual material, really well done pieces.
And then how many times have you ever started a cab and liked the back more than the front?
Oh, yes, all the time.
And then why did you give up your shop? It sounds like you were having a blast and making pretty good coin in the process.
I was having the time of my life, but I wanted to be bigger. I wanted to be part of something bigger than what that was my little shop. And I knew when I had my shop, I didn't know anybody that was far enough along in the Lapidary journey that I could aspire to be like, that I could really learn from. I had kind of peaked for the small pond that I was in, and I wanted it to grow more. And when John offered me the job, I knew it was a place where I would get so many more opportunities that I would never get otherwise. And so for me, it was no problem. I wanted someone like John and Sherman to be able to mentor me and make me grow and push harder.
What did you do when the back looks better than the front?
Well, if the piece was big enough, thick enough, I would just grind, like if this was a little bit thicker, I'd take and grind this flat and then flip it over and dome the other side. Yeah, the lessons that John and Sherman and just working here have taught me far surpass anything I would have been able to achieve on my own. I also get to do one of my favorite things, which is teach and inspire. Like that kid that was here the other day, nothing is better to me than seeing him light up about the thought of starting his own business and going down that same road. Like to me, that is the greatest joy of this. I say all the time that Lapidator is only good because we get to share it with other people.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, what I was doing, even though it was very good at it and very successful, it was lonely and hard. I was in a shop by myself, usually 12 to 14 hours a day.
Okay, slab question. Right toe lace, continuous rim, or segmented blade?
Probably continuous rim, but you can do either.
I like these Q&A. This might be a fun cut in chat, Zeke. Just a Q&A question where you just sit and answer all the questions about yourself.
Oh, that could be fun.
Like a get to know you.
Oh, that could be. We could queue up stuff too. They'd be like get to know you questions.
What do you guys think about that? That would be fun. I'm also just like a super curious person, so I love to know like everything about everyone.
Jordan is really good about being serious.
Sometimes I'm too good at it. Like I find information, I'm like, I don't need to know that. Me and Chantel do it a lot. But I like those kinds of things because we learn a lot about you guys and you guys learn a lot about us. But to be able to ask like just about any question would be, I think, really fun. What is the value of an intarsia piece? It depends on the materials that you're using and like a whole lot of stuff goes into the factor of that. And then about the price of a good quality graveyard plume cab.
The last time I cut a nice batch of graveyard plumes, the range was about $20 to about $85 a cab.
Do you still
I think
do
on the higher
personal?
end, they were about that big and it had nice blue and black with the pattern in there.
And then do you still do personal jobs or is most of your work routed through Highland Park now?
Most of it's routed through Highland Park. Occasionally, I'll do a piece for somebody else, but um, usually they're higher end pieces. So, like the last sphere job that I took and actually completed was a $15,000 sphere.
Mm. We do. We do all hang. Everyone that works here is super tight. Like all of us are so close, you know what I mean? We're all like a family. Like a lot of the people that work here, like they come to my family dinners and they've spent hol they've spent holidays with us and all that stuff. How much time involved in making those intarsia pieces are you talking about, Kurt? When you made all those graveyard plume cabs, Zeke, about how long?
So when I was calculating the cost, I would, because I do them in batches, I never really just cut one cab like I'm doing right now. Um, I would um I would figure it would take me about 20 minutes a cab was just how I averaged it out. Some would be more, some would be less. But usually when I was cutting cabs, I was doing them in batches of 50 to 150 at a time. Where
And
like
then
literally when I say 150 cabs, I mean I'd have a bucket of cab preforms and I'd do every single one of them on step one. And then when I was done, I'd do every single one of them on step two, and I would do back and forth. So sometimes I would start a cab, and it would be a week later before I finished it, because I was just going through the batches.
Zeke, you want to explain when you use the Dot Pro again? Because Zeke mainly uses his hands.
The Dot Pro is great if you have a hard time holding onto the stone, if you got arthritis and holding and doing this is really painful, or your hands get cold and you have a hard time doing it. It's also really good for doing smaller stones that maybe have a hard time holding on to. I've always done it without a dop stick, so I just am not in the habit of using one. Nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, it's tennis weekend. And if you guys want a Dot Pro kit, those are in stock. Cody is so excited for his sphere next week. I walked in and he was like, I haven't picked yet, Jordy. He was like, I need to pick something.
That's awesome, Michael. Yeah, I definitely have nothing against dop sticks. It's just a personal preference.
That will be Tuesday. Yep, for Cody cutting his sphere.
Oh, it's pretty good for 1200. Yeah. There's also, I mean, end all be all, this is just an agate or just chalcedony. It's just got other stuff in it. But right here, this should show you guys that patience will get you far because that's only 1200 grit. And that's probably a better polish than most people are getting in the beginning. So definitely take your time to really master it before you start trying to speed up your process. We're not done yet, but I know there's a lot of people that would be happy to get to that. People think it's the higher grits that really give you the polish, but if you don't master the earlier grits, then the higher grits are not going to hide the flaws.
That is true. Where is it from, Greg?
Is it the stuff from us? Oh, okay.
Did you cut a lot of coprolite, Zeke, in your shop?
Not a huge amount, but a decent amount. I mean, being from Utah, you definitely got to cut a decent amount. I was always looking for unique things like what I'm doing right now. Um, because when you're in Utah, there are plenty of people that have coprolite.
Yeah.
And so it had to be either really unique, or just like something that I was really excited about. Gray
Gray
blue
blue
with
with
red
red
veins.
veins.
It's so hard to give you a price like that. You can email me a picture and I can give you a better idea.
What is the RPM range the handheld tachometer will do?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm actually not certain. I know it'll go up to about 1800 RPM. I don't know what it maxes out that though.
That's really fast.
Michael, you don't have an idea on that, do you?
That's exciting, Stacey. A new toy to play with. I do love when Sherman's like, it's not like, stop calling it a playground. It's not a playground in here. I'm like, but it is. It's a fun, like, adult playground. Can Rosetta Lace be tumbled? Would it be
I'm
a little
not
bit of a
sure.
harder tumble?
Yeah, it definitely would.
You guys can ask any questions you want. It doesn't have to be related to cabbing on these nights. Any
Even if we
questions
don't
that
know
you
the
guys
answer,
have?
you're still welcome to ask.
Oh yeah, I'd literally ask anything you guys want. I know, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of missing that Wyoming Coprolite. We sold it so fast.
You guys are so funny.
When using the trim saw to cut slabs, how do you hold the rock straight?
It's a lot of practice, but I'll cut one and show you. I like to cut a flat spot on it first.
And then random question, what size wrench for the bolt/drain plug on the 14-inch?
Oh, I use an adjustable wrench, so I can not tell you.
I was gonna say I like the adjustable one.
I probably is like a 1 1/4.
Zeke, while capping, do you rely on feel and sound as well as frequent visual checks? Yes.
I rely more on the feel than I actually do on the visual check. But yes, it's good to visually check the stones. We'll have to get the wrench set out and check it.
That's what I like about Zeke's toolbox is he has one of literally everything. Like Zeke and Sherman's toolboxes, I'm like, oh my goodness. Thanks, Becky.
We're getting there.
Do you sell very many double-sided cabs?
Not really. It's not something that I enjoy doing, so I never really did much of it. Part of having my own business was I did not make things that I didn't necessarily enjoy making unless I was being paid an exorbitant amount for it. So if I didn't enjoy doing it, I probably didn't make it, at least not very often. I also didn't necessarily want jobs that I wasn't passionate about because I knew I would take more care and do a better job if I was passionate about the project as well. Again, not that there's anything wrong with a double-sided cab, it's just not something I enjoy making.
Are you doing
I'm sure
Sorry, Zeke. There was a question. Are you doing any more rough rock tonight?
Well, I think it should.
How often do we make palm stones?
Only when people want to see the process of how to make a palm stone. It's like that's another one that like I never really made that many of them. That is so cool.
They really are, Heather. I love them.
Well, we should do an egg on the shape machine.
Oh, someone wanted to see the shape machine too.
Palm stones, I think, would be a harder one to really sell well. I mean, it's doable, but I think you're gonna have a little bit harder of a time making the cost because you're using a lot more material. You're doing a good bit of grinding. So I do think it's doable. I just think that would be a harder one. You'd have to really figure out a good way to do it. Thank you, Sean. Oh, this is turning out so good.
It's gonna be so glossy when it's done. It's always good to kind of go back to the basics, you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's fun too to do something like this where I'm really excited to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you guys are getting to see more of something that like I'd come in and just work on something for myself. I feel like I don't share that near as much as I used to.
Yes, it is leather and cerium. You guys are very welcome. Oh my goodness, do you still have that red rutilated sphere?
I think I sold the big one. I might have it's one of the small ones.
That would be one to show, definitely, for them. We do that milk and diamond on canvas. Oh my goodness, whenever I pick up a piece of tiger eye, I do that all the time without fail.
What?
Get a tiger eye splinter.
I was it was either sit there and go wee or get a splinter.
Yep. When you find a unique rock when rock hounding and you cannot identify it, do you give it a name or list it as an unknown rock?
Um, I don't know that I've ever found anything that I really couldn't find someone to identify. I'd probably, I mean, if I was just trying to sell it, I'd probably do something silly like, "This is Bob. I found Bob in the field." And then I just tell people I don't know what it is. I mean, I definitely had cabs and stuff I didn't know what were, and I just tell people I don't know what it is.
I do like going to the shows and like when we went to that show, I forget where it was, and every single agate was a Laguna agate.
It's funny that you think I'm like you may think like it's a joke when we say that, but it is amazing how often you go to a show and it's like every agate is a Laguna agate
Yeah,
or just agate.
that's funny. It's so funny when my friends like they'll be out and about and they'll just send me photos of the rocks. I love it. They're like, Jordan, this rock made me think of you. I was like, oh, thanks, guys. Brady, when I would be taking Brady to the bus when he was in school and picking him up, he would find a rock at the bus stop every morning. He'd be like, all right, Auntie, you're gonna go wash it now, and then we'll see how clean it is when I come home. So
I like that he's giving you an assignment.
Yes. He still wants to make that lapis cube, but I think he just wants us to do every single cut except the last one. So
I
he
was
can
about
come
to
and
say
do
we
it.
just gotta just gotta do all the cuts, and then he can come in and polish it.
Yeah.
Or we could give him a piece to do on the trim saw. It doesn't have to be a perfect cube.
Yeah, he'll have fun. Brady, I actually have some adorable photos of Brady and Zeke in front of the saw.
Oh,
Brady
I
says
forgot
that
about that.
he says that the Model 12 SS, he's like, that's like my size saw, Dee. And he says the 16 is Zeke's saw.
Ooh, here goes the camera. Let me just finish wiping this off, and I'll show you guys this cab.
Very nice. I like that a lot, Zeke Ray.
Thank you. I like that shape. I like how it turned out.
Such a good gloss.
Yeah, and getting that shallow of a dome definitely can be challenging to keep the gloss in there and not have any scratches. That's really what takes so long on something like this is how do you get it perfectly smooth? Because if you notice though when the light moving around it's very, very smooth and no scratches. That's why something like that can take a little bit longer because you got to have a lot of patience. Oh, kicking the camera again to run that all the way through.
I was just gonna say, and no flat spots, that's pretty good.
All right, we said we'd show the shape machine. Let's show that. And tonight's cab lineup's turning out pretty good. And then, was there anything that we gotta touch on before we end tonight? We did
We'll
mention
do
something.
we'll do some spins before we end. We'll do a spin before we end.
There's a heart that was getting worked on. Let's see. Take this heart cam off. Put something we haven't done a whole lot of on there, and then I'll grab a little slab and show you guys. This is such a cool machine. This is in my top machines I wish I would have bought when I had my shop. Oh, I was just like, that's so cute. Why didn't you finish that one? And then I saw the saw. It's funny when you do that. I've done that to a few projects
What?
where you get a flat spot in there because you miscalculated.
Yep. I'm so thankful that I tested it before I actually did it.
I'm just putting the cam on right now. Whatever shape you put on over here is what, yeah, here, I'll show you guys, is what the cab will come out that shape. And as Jordan learned, not necessarily that size, but that shape. Because the size is determined by this black plate going up and down.
I still don't understand that, but it'll click one day. It's gonna all piece together.
I'll explain it again here in a second. I can get the screw in there. All right. Let me get you down to the right height to really look at this.
2 inches, Heather.
So when you lower the handle and the cam touches down on this black plate, if it's up high, you raise this up, it's going to stop sooner. So before it gets down to the grinding wheel. The lower this goes, the closer it can get to the grinding wheel. So by lowering this plate, it does smaller. By raising the plate, it stays bigger. Does that make more sense?
Yep.
So I usually, when I start a piece, I bring this way up so that it can be as big as possible, and then I can slowly grind it into where I want it. The shape
Oh my
machine
goodness,
is
that makes
essentially like
sense.
what?
You start it higher up and then you hone it in.
Yes.
Okay.
I love though when it finally clicks. I was like, I knew it really hadn't clicked yet until I get the oh.
Yeah. This is the shaping machine. The other night, Jordan and Cody had one of them was the silver bar above the black plate.
This screw had come loose. This is a little like dead stop for the deck. So it just come loose and was sitting on this plate, so it wasn't allowing them to do the shape that they were trying to do. All right. And then I grabbed a little preform that is of similar shape.
Does it need to be like kind of close to what you're doing, or does it matter?
It doesn't care. How much diamonds you use might care, or how long it takes to do it, but this is close enough that this goes super fast to do a piece like this. And then because especially a shape like this where it's long and skinny, you want to match that to the cam. And then I'll
Okay,
give
so
you guys a little bit of an outer view here. So we'll turn the machine on here. Oh, let's see, let me raise the plate up a little bit more just to be certain. I'm going to flip that over and turn the handle down. That's going to turn on the oil, and it's going to turn on the rotation of the head. Now, you guys can't hear, but it's not grinding at all yet. So now I'm going to start lowering. Let's see, which way am I going? Oh, it helps if I'd go the right way. I'm going to start lowering the head so that it can start grinding. And what's great about this is it's very repeatable. So once I get it set to the right size that I want to do, I don't need to change it. It's going to keep doing that same size over and over and over again. So I could make 100 of the exact same shape.
and if you want this machine, definitely the Everclean to go with it.
Yeah, you go right on the side there. And this knob right here speeds up the rotation of the grinding. So I can crank that way up.
Hi, Michael.
So you can see just preforming it out. In our shop, you got somebody working this all day, and they're really running this machine. You can produce 2,000 cab preforms a day doing this.
Wow. I have a question, and I don't know if this is like a do not do this. Could you clamp two identical slabs?
No,
Okay. Just making sure, because I know
because
I'm
you're
thinking
gonna
it.
then you'd get to where they'd be slipping more.
Okay, I gotcha. Could you put in a thicker preform to get the shape and then use the trim saw to cut smaller slabs?
You technically could, yes. The downside of doing that is then you cannot orient to your pattern. You're stuck with that same shape all the way through. But you could take the extender out right here and put a long piece in and grind it out to that shape, up to 2 inches wide.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Oh, that must be an old video. You do not have to drill for the Everclean now. It comes, so it just slides right into that slot there. So it's actually really easy to put on this machine. And then there's already a spot in the drawer down here to stick the extra pump. But this is a really cool machine. I wish I would have bought one when I had my shop. It was one that I was like, I don't know that I really see the value in having it until I got to use it. And I was like, oh my God, I could have produced so many more cabs this way and had better shapes. How many of y'all have ever tried to make like a nice oval cab or a nice round cab? Or a heart? And you know how long it takes to get them perfect, and this machine is doing that in like 10 seconds. Something that probably would take most people 5 to 10 minutes just to get the shape. I mean, it's not going to dome it and polish it for you, but it sure will speed you up. Just washing the oil off. So it's a pretty impressive machine. You can do beads, eggs, spheres, all kinds of fun stuff. Cabs, obviously, gauges. We have all kinds of different cams. It has a plug-in inside the machine, so you just plug the pump in and inside the machine. But it's a pretty freaking cool machine.
Do the cams come with the machine?
No, the cams are separate. The machine, if you order the machine and you want, like, it doesn't come with a wheel or any of the cams. So anything that you want to make, you want to order the wheel for it. You want to order any cams that you want. The Everclean. Yes, you could, James. The way I would do that is I would do one and check it with calipers and get it down to the right size. Like I was doing like an 8x10 oval. I would adjust my handle till I got it a little bit oversized, like maybe a 9x11. And then I would run a bunch of them, and then you could take them over and finish them by hand. But that would definitely be a way you could make a lot of jewelry, is by preforming your cabs on here to do those calibrated shapes. And like we have a bunch of different cams like this. We also have um, these where you can cut them out to make whatever shape you want. Or John will custom make cams for people if they're like, I really want this shape.
That could be fun.
But this is a pretty freaking cool machine.
Hey, Jeffrey.
But 5 gallons of oil is plenty for running this machine. But you
I
see
like
you
that
got a
it's a
spot
drawer.
right? It's pretty cool. You got
Very
a spot for your
compact.
2 pumps. One to run the grinding wheel, one to run the Everclean. And it's easy to take out.
Zeke, I also love how fascinated Sherman is by this machine, rightfully so. But this machine is just so cool.
Oh, I love this machine. I could do a cut and shed on this machine every week because I have so much fun using it.
Is it the
Like
most
literally.
complex machine to build?
Yeah, this is the most. It's not a hard machine to learn how to use, but it's the most complex machine to build with all the parts. And it's not a very big machine either. It's maybe like 2 by 2 feet.
Yeah, it's not huge. Let's see.
Because I mean, really, all you got is your head side to side motion, your cross feed, as Jordan called it, which was like, yeah, that's very fitting. You got your clamp handle for your stone. You got your size adjustment that you're just going up and down on. You change out your cams. You have your on and off switch, your speed control for the how fast you're rotating, and then basically your engagement handle. So honestly, use-wise, this is only like one step harder than using a slab saw.
Yeah,
Because
they're
really
in stock.
all those features are kind of the same as a slab saw, except for your size adjustment here would be really the only difference. So it's a pretty easy machine to learn, especially if you're doing things like cabs on there. That's super easy. All right. Was there any materials we were dying to get after before we wrap up tonight? We got time for one more.
You got it, Evan. How does it shape spheres? Biggest sphere you can make is 2-inch on this one,
Yes. For
and
the
you can make eggs on this one.
yes. So if we're doing like a sphere, you'd put a different wheel on. So like this is how it would do a sphere, where you got your thing clamped in there, and this is as it rotates, it's going to grind it into a just about perfect ball. And then you have your little nubs on the sides that you would grind off, and then it's ready to go in the sphere machine, or if you're doing beads, into the tumbler. But this kind of wheel will produce something like that.
Would you say that this machine is like a saw and a cabbing machine had a baby and a trim saw?
Um, it's kind of like the perfect way I think to describe it is I like how Sherman describes it. It's like a key maker because you're just putting a cam on and on here and matching that shape.
And then Kathy was wondering about the vice slide assembly for the 10-inch trim saw. Is that how it makes slabs?
I said I'd show that. Most of the slabs that I do on there, I just do by hand. But you can um use the vise for doing slabs.
No, the biggest it'll go is 2-inch. Do you include tech support on that machine, and does that include help with setting up for different operations?
I think tech support would most be me, but
Yeah.
I mean, we're always happy to help you if you're having a problem, or if you're like, gosh, I just cannot figure out how to set this up. We can always shoot a video on it or do a cut and chat. Although, heck, talk Sherman into it, and I'll come play with it with you.
You don't need to go that far. You're fine.
Just in case.
You're already going across the world.
Let's see. Let me grab a chunk of rock. We'll cut something. You'd think it'd be easier to find something to cut with all this rock laying around.
I know. Someone did say they were gonna start cutting down on that sphere toad over there.
Heh. Cutting down is going to stop adding to it.
Uh-huh. I'm not sure. I don't know that they booked the dates yet.
We haven't. All right. So when I'm cutting something, I like to either find a flat spot or cut a flat spot so that you can slab it up.
And then if you could only have one saw, which one would it be?
I can only have one, a 16. So something like this, I mean, it doesn't matter how much you cut off the piece, but cutting it first so you get a flat face like that makes it really easy. So then you can take it and cut slabs. Where the vise is really handy is in your accuracy to make them flat. It's a lot more challenging to practice to cut a nice flat slab. But I mean, a little bit of practice and you can get pretty decent. But having that flat face so you're not rocking or twisting really helps.
That looks like K2.
Yes.
Do we have the vise?
Yeah, I can show that. So that like if I'm cutting up slabs, that's generally how I'm gonna do it is on the trim saw is gonna be like this. Because especially if you cut a little flat on the stone, really helps. But the vise, you're gonna clamp, it would mount. Oh yeah, it would take a little practice to get them that flat. You can mount on either side, but you put it in the screw holes there, and you tighten down this right here, and then you tighten this down to really give it some nice compression. And this part right here, you can use to slide it back and forth. The biggest limiting on this is it won't hold a very big rock. So if you want to do something a little bit bigger, you'll have to hold it. But that does give you the option to get more consistency in your slabs. A pretty cool little feature. Well, thank y'all. We really do appreciate you guys. We always have a blast hanging out with you and cutting pretty rocks. And hey, if you haven't left us a 5-star review, we would greatly appreciate it if you could hop on Google. The team will post a link in the chat. Leave us a 5-star Google review. It really does help us out and helps more people find us so we can continue to do this. We appreciate y'all, and we're going to have some fun tomorrow night. We'll do some fun tote with you guys. Thanks, everybody.